Okay, I'm going to show you one more possibility in SPSS, and this is to recode variables. So if we go into transform, we can see that there are two ways to recode variables. We can recode them into the same variable, and this is the box for that, or we can recode into different variables. Now, if you recode into the same variable, what happens is your variable that originally had some data, now there are different values for those participants on those variables. So in essence, you really lose the original data. And once you lose data, if you don't save the original file, it's just, I really don't recommend it. I think a better way to go is to recode into different variables, because then you have the information from the original variable and you also have the information from the new variable. So suppose that I wanted to code marital status into people who were either formally married or not married. So I have my marital status variable here. So I'm going to create a new variable. Let me call this, actually, let me call this not married. Okay. So notice this is, I'm changing it from marital status into something unknown. When I click on change, you'll see it's going to be not married. Now my old values, my value 1 was for single. So now I'm going to code that as a 1 and add it. My second variable was for married, so I'm going to code that as 2 and add it. My third value was a 3, and this was for divorce, and since divorced people are not married, I'm going to code it as a 1 and add it. My fourth was cohabitating, so that is not married. Code that as a 1. And finally, my fifth is widowed, so I'm going to also code that as a 1. And I'm going to add that. I'm going to continue, and then I'm going to click on OK. And notice, again, this is a time where the this output is informative because it tells you exactly how you've coded the variable, so it's probably something you want to save. Let me just minimize it here. And if I go back into my data set, you'll see that I have a new variable at the very end, and this is not married, and this is coded all as 1s and 2s because people are either married or not married. Now let me show you one other example. Suppose I wanted to take my income variable and I wanted to recode it into just groups of low, middle, and high income or SES. So I'm going to go back to my recode into the different variables. I want to reset it here. And then I'm going to use income as my input variable. So let me find income. Okay, I'm going to call this new variable SES. So I'm going to change it. And my old values, now I have, there are many, many values for income, and it's really not viable to recode each one. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to code the lowest value through $20,000. And I'm going to code that as a 1 and add it. Then I'm going to code a range, $20,001 through $60,000. And I'm going to code that as 2. That's my middle group. And then finally, I'm going to code $60,001 through the highest value, and I'm going to code that as a 3. And I'm going to do continue and OK. Again, you want to keep your log here of the way you coded this. And we see that SES here is coded a lot of 1s, some 2s, and I think we have some, there's a 3. So let's look at this. This is subject 45. And the income for that person is 98,000. So they are, in fact, over 60,000. And that's how you recode into new variables.